Hi, my name is James Evans,
And I'm Trevor Martin.
and we're doing our project on The Sun Also Rises, written by Ernest Hemingway. The Sun Also Rises. The Sun Also Rises is a book written by Ernest Hemingway that takes place in France and Spain. The book is about a group of Americans who live in Paris that travel to the festival of San Fermin in Pamplona to watch the running of the bulls and the bullfights. The main characters in this book are Jake, Brett, who is a female, Cone, and Mike. These characters are all considered alcoholics. They go out to bars every single night and make poor choices because of their drinking habits. All of the characters are trapped in the situation that they created themselves, alcoholism. These characters have many opportunities to get out of their situation, but they don't use them. They make poor decisions, such as having one night stands with random people. The main woman character, Brett, is constantly cheating on her husband, and their style of alcoholism leads them to Pamplona, to a fiesta in Pamplona. While they are all in Pamplona, they drink an unusually large amount of alcohol, and while intoxicated, all the friends get mad at each other and end up ruining their friendship. This is all due to their alcoholism. This book is actually based on the real life experience that the author Ernest Hemingway had in the year of 1925. All of the characters in this book are based off people that he knew in his life.
Alright, and our first illness is alcoholism. And according to the Mayo Clinic, alcoholism is a chronic and often progressive disease that includes problems with controlling your drinking, being preoccupied in alcohol, and other symptoms. Some other symptoms of alcoholism are if you can't control your drinking, if you drink alone or try to hide your drinking, if you drink to feel good or normal, or if you lose interest in hobbies or activities that were fun before. What causes alcoholism? Depression, people that want to soothe their fear or soothe their anxiety. People drink a little and then they get addicted, and genetics have a factor as well. The effect of alcohol on people. Alcohol messes up the brain's communication patterns and the way it works, and it just makes people make bad decisions. And here's a video on alcoholism and how it affects the brain and the body.
Alcohol's effects on the brain are quite complex. So just about any substance that people experience some kind of pleasure from tend to affect the brain centers that are involved in reward and control. And then over time with the addiction, the brain gets used to having that external stimulant there, and what ends up happening is some of those dopamine receptors kind of get used to having that, and they end up either becoming less sensitive or less productive of dopamine, so that when you stop, your brain's not really ready for that, and that's sort of oversimplifies it, but it's a part of what is involved with withdrawal. But alcohol has effects in lots of different areas of the brain, not just that sort of reward area, but it's also involved in a range of other neurotransmitters beyond dopamine. So things like glutamate and GABA, and other parts of the brain, the hippocampus, which is involved in memory, the cerebellum, which is the back part of your brain that's involved in motor coordination. And likewise, when someone is alcohol dependent, it is one of the most destructive drugs to various parts of your body and different organ systems. From the top down, chronic alcohol dependence can have significant effects on cognitive functioning, memory, motor coordination, all which is controlled up in the brain. You can have esophageal problems down into the stomach, pancreas, the liver, because the liver is the organ that kind of clears a lot of the toxic things out of our body. When that starts shutting down, it not only is not able to really process alcohol and its toxic byproducts well, but there are other things that it just starts losing functioning. And when that starts going, it's a very serious physical problem. Worst case scenarios can be things like alcohol-related dementia or delirium, which are serious brain problems, or cirrhosis would be another really major problem. These are things that people become extremely ill and need to go into a nursing home, or people just die from.
Alright, and that was a video just showing how alcohol affects the brain and the body. Some treatments for alcohol. There are rehab, support from family, and just overall maintenance of sobriety. And some medications are out there to help you.
Now what I have here is two pictures. One is of a group of friends having fun out at a bar, and the other is just someone staring out the window alone at home. And obviously, it's very clear which of these pictures is more fun. Clearly, having fun out at the bar, but which of these pictures is more ethically moral? Which would be this picture staying at home. I'm not saying you don't have to stay at home every day. I'm not saying that you can never go out to bars, but it's healthy not to just do one or the other every single night. Moral corruption. According to Kohlberg, the theory that he has is that moral reasoning, the basis for ethical behavior, has 6 identifiable development stages. The characters in The Sun Also Rises suffer from a weak moral structure. The characters show the early stages of Kohlberg's Kohlberg's stages, such as acting nice and trying to live up to standards set by society, but not ethical standards. And a lack of morality is caused by a need for people to fit into society, and also people's sole goal is to please other members of society. Some morality corruption traits. According to Richard Paul, ethical corruption starts at a young age. Kids often get upset with other kids for receiving more candy than them. It is likely that the characters in The Sun Also Rises were corrupted at a very young age. According to Children's Health, some of the major symptoms include weakness of will, weakness of conscience, flexible morality, and a person's moral behavior is motivated by the desire to satisfy personal needs. Some treatments for this. There is no exact treatment for moral corruption, but the best thing to do would to consult a psychiatrist, and he should be able to help you through a lot of your issues or help you at least get through them and minimize them.
Alright, and our last illness is PTSD, which also stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. And according to Mayo Clinic, PTSD is a mental health condition triggered by experiencing or seeing a terrifying event. When Jake was younger, he went to war, and he was terrified by the events that happened in the war. And PTSD is reliving those events. The PTSD and stress are a likely cause that cause him to become an alcoholic. And some traits of PTSD are re-experiencing the traumatic event, avoiding reminders of the trauma, and increased anxiety and emotional arousal.
And also, as you can see from this picture, this is actually a soldier, a modern-day soldier, not one from the old wars, but it's just showing his PTSD, and I don't know if you can see him, but showing he has regret, depression, grief, pain, harm, and these are just some of these symptoms that people with PTSD go through.
Alright, and some symptoms are just re-experiencing the traumatic event, avoiding reminders of the trauma, and increased anxiety and emotional arousal.
And this is obviously a soldier who is having trouble dealing with his what he did overseas fighting, and he just can't really help dealing with him. He's just trying to block them all out. The Pamplona Fiesta. Pamplona is a historical capital of the city of Navarre in Spain, and it's actually located in the north of Spain, and it's a very important setting in The Sun Also Rises. This is the site of bullfighting, the running of the bulls, and this fiesta happens once a year, and as you can see, it's a very big fiesta. We have hundreds of people standing out here, leaning over the balcony, and people running, and obviously you can see some running of the bulls down here in the middle. And this is another picture of the running of the bulls, and the running of the bulls occurs when people are running and then they release bulls after them and they just run, and this is a key part of Spanish society, and thousands of people participate in this every year. And as you see, we got some bull runners here that are trying to run for the bulls, and then the angry bulls that are chasing them.
Alright, and this is a picture of the group of friends at the bar. The group of friends were Jake, Brett, Ken, and Mike, and they do this like every day. In the society in the 1920s, it was very big into drinking and just going out and having fun with their friends, and a night like this was very common. Setting. This is the first setting in Paris, France. At the beginning, the group of friends start out as really good friends, just having good times and getting along with each other. They just went out to bars and nightclubs, just having fun. But this drinking, it was the first stage of their alcoholism, where they only had small problems and small arguments. Nothing really big happened here.
And this is obviously just a common bar and a common nightclub. These are a little extravagant because they're in Paris, but these are just normal clubs.
Alright, the next setting is Berguet, Spain. I don't know how to pronounce that. And this is where Jake went up for a couple days to go fishing before the fiesta, and where he was just waiting to catch up with his friends. That's basically it for this setting. Alright, the next setting is the main setting in Pamplona, Spain. This is where the fiesta takes place, the running of the bulls, the bullfighting, and all the main and big problems. Some of the problems that happen in Pamplona are Cone punching Jake and Mike, Cone leaving the fiesta after the fight with Mike, and also Brett spending the night with Romero, the young handsome matador, who wins the bullfighting.
And this fiesta is obviously very popular. As you can see, all these little red dots are people down here. And even for people that can't find a spot on the ground, they go up to the high balconies to enjoy the shows.
Alright, and the last setting of the story is in Madrid, Spain. This is where Jake picks Brett up in a hotel after the night with Romero. And that's just a picture of a hotel because that's a place where he picked her up.
The position... our position is that the overindulgence of alcohol impairs the decision-making of the characters in the story, which obviously can destroy friendships as it did in the book. And just more simply, this means if you drink too much, it can destroy your life.
Alright, now this is a picture of two friends just gossiping and talking around. And they're just talking about how much they don't like Cone. Jake and Mike were drinking and they started just talking about Cone. And when they were talking, Mike told Jake to say something pitiful. And Jake responds, "Robert Cone." This is the first sign of alcoholism because of their decision making was altered. And they started talking about their friend in a negative way because alcohol affects their judgments and it makes them talk about the friend bad. They hadn't started heavy drinking yet, but the arguments and bad judgments were just starting to begin. Alright, alcohol impairs judgments. This is a picture of just a girl cheating on her husband, which is symbolizing Brett and how she keeps cheating on her husband. While drunk, Brett is known to make very bad mistakes with cheat on her husband. And one night when both Cone and Brett were drinking, alcohol had taken over their decision making and they slept the night together. This is a big reason why Jake and Mike don't like Cone. And on page 69, Brett says, "I'm gonna marry him," talking about Mike. This shows the negative power of alcohol and how it can take over the brain and choose Brett, who loves Mike, to just spend a night with Cone and risk everything.
And alcohol can also get people angry a lot quicker than usual. According to Drink Aware, alcohol makes people more aggressive. Alcohol also reduces humans' ability to think straight. In the book The Sun Also Rises, alcohol causes one of the main characters, Mike, to constantly get mad. When he gets mad, the characters around him get mad, which in return causes a never-ending cycle of people just constantly getting mad at one another. For example of Mike getting mad, one time he got so mad at Cone that he in return made Cone mad at him, and Cone actually ended up punching Mike and knocking him into the ground. And as you can see in this picture, it's a very angry man, and it's possible that he's under the influence. Brett cheats again. While in Spain, Brett falls in love with a young bullfighter named Romero. However, she is thinking about marrying Mike. So Brett is supposedly in love with Mike, but she found her new love, Romero. Alcohol causes Brett to lose control of her senses and leave the person that she is going to marry. This shows how even good friends can be pulled apart from the negative effects of alcohol on the brain. And this is obviously a picture of a young woman who has a man has her arm around her. However, she's holding the arm of supposedly best friend of this man behind his back. The statements about alcohol and about society and alcohol. This story takes place in the 1920s, which is called as the Roaring Twenties, which was America's most prosperous time. And in the Roaring Twenties, people constantly went to bars, and this was thought of as normal. And the characters in the book go out to bars every night, and they are clearly and obviously alcoholics. Whenever the characters have problems, they just go out and drink, have fun, and this causes them to make poor decisions that affect their life. And As you can see right here on the top, it's a picture of someone leaning on a man, and obviously has alcohol, which shows how she's been impaired. And then this one is just a woman crying on the phone, possibly, and under the influence and she maybe is talking to a lost love. And then this one is just how easily a person can get angry when under the influence.
All right, and these are just a couple of our sources that we have. Yeah,
And
that's it.
that's our presentation.
Thank you.